party chants goes, guy is alive and when I run dry. And we rise to the vibe of that sunshine. Trying to survive, do it one time, one mind. High is a guy that we can unwind. Guy is alive and when I run dry. And we rise to the vibe of that sunshine. Trying to survive, do it one time, one mind. High is a guy that we can unwind.
Hey guys, we're still here in beautiful Morelia at the Greater Reset, having a great time, and I am here with Casey or Rhymewave. He is here going to tell us a little bit about what he's doing, his music, and what's going on in his life, and so I'm going to let you launch off.
Right on. Well, yes, I am Casey. I also go by Rhymewave. I make hip-hop music. I like to call it underground hip-hop music. A lot of people might call it conscious rap. That's cool if you want to call it that. I'm just trying to make music to lift people up, to inspire people. It's something that I'm looking at you, right? Cool. I'm just trying to make music to inspire people and, raise the vibes, but at the same time, like, dig into some of the heavier shit and, analyze lots of things that are maybe hard to put into a song and kind of take it as deep as possible while still making it accessible. And, I'm here in Morelia to perform with the Kin of Merlin. We have like 10, 15 MCs in this group now. It's basically just been like a super group forming, but we have 6 people that are here now and then another MC. We're gonna play on Sunday, maybe play another show. I just was talking with Bruce about setting up another show, but first time in Morelia, first time attending a conference like this, and I love it. It's something I would love to see more of in my future, and definitely would love to come back here or wherever this conference goes. But it's perfect in so many ways, and just been connecting with a lot of the people here in crazy ways, and having a great time, man.
Seems like we always migrate around those people that we're most attuned to. We're all like magnets, and we just somehow we find ourselves in places where we're thinking alike to the people around us. And if you're not finding yourself in that situation, then maybe you should consider that and start to wander into new places. But I want to know your story. So how did you get into your music? What inspired you to start making music that was going to enlighten the people around you and motivate, inspire people to look at the world in a different way than what they might have been doing before? What's your story?
Well, kind of became obsessed with music very early in life. I was obsessed with the radio. I used to record songs on little cassette tapes, and I would just play them over and over again and transcribe the lyrics. And I would, wait by the radio to record my favorite songs so that way I could listen to them over and over again and memorize the lyrics. And then, by age 7 or 8, started writing lyrics, kind of pop songs would be that you're hearing on the radio, not really exposed to anything other than the mainstream, MTV, top 40 type shit. And basically right around when I was entering high school, 8th grade, 9th grade, so that would have been year 2000, the internet came out in a big way for music, CD burners, and internet blogs that were highlighting different types of music. And it was the first time that I had access to something outside of the mainstream, what was being provided to me by the labels and the radio stations and the award shows and all that. So I got really into underground hip hop, just felt random. Now it feels serendipitous, but I had this homie who just had all these underground hip hop CDs, and he just started giving to me at school. I'd take them home, burn them, and I just fell in love with it. I'd already kind of been into hip-hop music in some ways. I listened to punk rock and lots of different stuff. I played guitar and piano when I was younger. But as soon as I heard underground hip-hop, it was just there's this crazy realization where I was holy shit, this is something I could do. This is something that is accessible, and I'd never heard a music that I identified with so closely, and not just one artist, but all these different artists. And it was it had everything that I loved about music, already, but with such deeper layers of meaning. And, you know, right at a time in my life when I'm kind of like, you know, starting to see the world differently and starting to smoke weed. And, you know, it was another year or two before I started doing psychedelics. But yeah, for whatever reason, underground hip hop just grabbed me, and I started writing rhymes, you know, at that time, 14, 15. And basically just never stopped, you know, and got to the point. It took years before I shared it with people. It was like, you know, you're basically just writing songs for yourself as a cathartic exercise, you know. But then in college, when I was like 18, one of the guys that I was like best friends with was also an MC. And then we had another dude who was like a live looper, and we started like playing together and playing some parties and stuff. And that was like, you know, basically the extent of what I did in college with music. So then 22, moved to Colorado, didn't know anyone, started playing open mics, and ended up, you know, moving from the mountains to Denver to kind of like try to pursue music a little bit more. Because once I started performing more often and started getting positive feedback and people being like, hey man, this is really good, you know, it's like that gave me confidence that what I was putting out there was actually valuable, and that I could do something with it, you know, that it didn't just have to be a hobby. Realizing that it would probably be a while before I'd be able to figure out a way to pay my bills, you know, with the music. I'm like, okay, well, I can put more energy into this now, you know, keep working. And it was really fueled by so many of the people around me, you know, giving me that confidence, showing me that love. Colorado has an incredible music scene. And so I then moved, you know, to Denver, and like ended up just getting sucked into the cannabis industry for like 10 years. Didn't really play any shows. I played a couple shows in that time, but I was making music the whole time, you know, not at a very good rate. But it wasn't until I moved to Portland in 2018, once again, didn't know anyone, started going to open mics, and ended up, you know, finding all these opportunities to play shows. And then all my friends were also musicians, and a bunch of my friends are MCs, and now we've got all these opportunities to play, and we're all making music together. And so like that's been the last like 4 years basically, really the last like 2 to 3. And so yeah, now we're basically at the point where, you know, there's enough of us that are committed to this art form and this craft and this collaboration that we're supporting each other in some really cool ways and making some really cool shit happen. Like the fact that you know, we're able to get to come out here to Mexico to share music at this conference and like see this community, you know, not just the greater Reset community, but like the community in Morelia, you know, like just the beautiful town where this is set. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, the story of my music, you know, how I got from just being obsessed with the radio as a kid to like what I'm doing now.
Yeah, so that is a journey. How long has it been since you first started? So how many years have you been involved in creating music?
I mean, I would say 22, 23, or maybe more. Maybe like 25, because when I was playing piano as a kid, I was playing my own songs, you know, like I was going to lessons, but then after a couple years of lessons, like I just started fucking around making my own songs. And like when I started playing guitar when I was like 13, like I was definitely like making my own songs, writing lyrics. So like that was always a big thing. And before that, I was writing stories. Like when I was a kid, I was obsessed with like Goosebumps and Animorphs and all these like, you know, these young adult, you know, fictional crazy stories. And then I started like writing my own, and I'd make my own comic books, and always just thinking of stories, you know. But then music kind of like took the center stage, and I make beats still too. So like now I'm spending, you know, a good portion of my time producing like hip hop beats. You know, they're more than hip hop beats, but they're, yeah, essentially beats for my raps and for my friends. So yeah, did that.
Yeah, so a quarter of a century is a huge amount of time to have dedicated to a particular skill set. Most other times in history, and even today, I mean, the 25 years, you are the master of your profession, and so man, that's just a lot of time to dedicate, and we need to remember that the type of music that this master of his craft is making is not about shaking asses in the club, throwing dollars, popping bottles. It's really about uplifting humanity, creating a better world, learning how to delve deeper into ourselves, all these types of concepts that everybody can relate to and everybody really needs, though most people have forgotten. And when we get into the hip hop, like I was saying with Torn a little bit ago, that when the tool being used is hip hop. Hip hop's such an easy thing for like that word magic. You can really just like speak it into the people, and it's so easy to dance to. It's so easy to find your movement to that. Really, it's just an amazing tool, and it fits very well in with the, like Torn was saying, with the populations that need it the most. That's like again, I want to honor you, like with all of the people in Kin of Merlin, because you're using your talents, you're using your mastery over your craft, not for self-interested gains. Of course, we all have to be selfish in to survive and to thrive in this world. We have to be selfish to some degree. We got to think about what we need and how to get it. But at the same time, there's something more to life. There's something that's way more. We feel better when we're doing something for someone else, and if you have something you can give to everyone else, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. So I want to know what do you see as like the motivator? What do you get up every day and start making music? What is the thing that puts you in the seat?
Man, that is, if I could figure that out, I'd be set. Because it's a mystery, man. Like I think there's certain things, certain equations where I could set my day up in a way that I'm going to be inspired, or come into it something like this conference. You're infused with inspiration. So I think putting yourself in inspiring places, and also like experiences. So much music is about experiences. So like drawing on that, and like really being like aware in the day, and like kind of being a perceptive individual, like that allows you to have that fuel for the fire. But in terms of like, why I create, man, it's kind of like, it's kind of selfish in a sense, man. Like I feel like if I didn't, I think I'd be lost in life. It's really how I've coped with a lot of confusion in this world, and just trying to make sense of this wild reality, and also to find the beauty in it, and to find the love in it, but also to get shit out, like stuff that you need to get off your chest, and you don't always like intend to share it right away, but like now I am crafting things in ways where I do want to share them, and that's a different sort of thing, because it's like you're still going through that process of trying to figure out your place in this world, but you're doing it with the intention of sharing that to others, and that adds a whole new dimension, because then it's like, well, now I have a responsibility. If nobody's reading this shit, nobody's hearing it, I could write whatever the fuck I want. But and especially when you look into etymology and the meanings behind words, which Illuminati Congo gave such a good talk on yesterday, it's like words are spells, and you better be careful how you use them, especially if you're going to put your music out for other people. So yeah, I mean, I think the things that get me really excited to make music a lot of times are something I'm excited for with like a collaboration, someone else I'm working with, another person, or maybe I just have a really nice day where I was able to set up my day in a nice way. And other times, like inspiration will just hit you at random times. But yeah, I was going to also just riff on what you were saying before with like, hip hop being such a powerful art form. I couldn't agree more. And I think it's like one of the most effective ways to communicate a message or an idea or a story or inspire people, because you can pack so many words into a song. Like with most songs, and it's not all about the number of words. I mean, you can say very complex things in simple ways, but like, you can just do so much with the words and with the energy of the song and with the way that it makes you feel. I think that's why people love it so much. That's why I tell people I think hip hop is the most popular art form in the world right now, because more music is consumed than any other art form. And I've never looked into this. This is just, you know, intuitive. It's like you look at the music charts and they're all hip hop songs everywhere. You know, top songs are all rap songs, not necessarily the ones I like listening to, but it's the perfect time. You know, people are hungry for that, and much more receptive. You know, I've had a lot of older folks, you know, say they really appreciate my music, or, you know, that their kids like my music, you know, and like that's I'm obviously like mostly friends with people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, so like that's kind of, I guess, you know, the common crowd at my shows and stuff. But like, yeah, man, I'm making music for the elders, for the kids. Like, I want something everyone can relate to in some way, and that you can find different layers of meaning throughout time. Like there have been things that I wrote where I didn't even really understand what it meant in the moment, and then something happened down the line and I was like, oh damn, like that's why I wrote that. Like almost like precognition type shit, you know, because writing, you're channeling, don't know what, but you're channeling something, whether it's your thoughts or you're tapping into, people like to call it the muse, people like to call it source, you know, whatever. There's something weird going on there. Sometimes words will come to you in strange ways where something just pops in your head and it works perfectly. It's like, how did I just think of that? Like, that word's perfect, you know. And then there's sometimes where I think of a word and I don't really know what it means, but I'm like, that would work. And then I look up the definition, because usually I'm typing my lyrics. I made the transition like a few years ago, and now I'm all about typing my lyrics because I can rearrange shit and keep it all cataloged. And I do still like handwriting, but anyways, yeah, you look up the definition of a word and it's just perfect. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like, how did I just think of this? And I didn't even know the definition, but it just like came into my head. So I don't know. Music, it's a mysterious process, you know, the process of making music. But if it's not real, people aren't going to resonate with it. And that's why I can't make gangster rap or I can't make pop and shit, because like that's not real to me. For some people it is. And like, you know, an artist like, I don't know, Bruno Mars or something, like, seems like he really enjoys doing that, you know, Super Bowl halftime show, you know. So like, I'm sure he's crushing it at that because he's like into it, but he's also probably fucking miserable.
Either that or he's just owned by the corporates that whatever label he's on, who knows. But
100%. We were just talking about the whole Kanye situation the other day, and it's like, dude, you signed up for this. Like, what do you expect? Like, you want to be a fucking billionaire? You want to have paparazzi following around you and, you know, marry the most, you know, famous woman in the world? It's like, this is what you signed up for, dog. Like, that's what that lifestyle comes with, you know. Because, and I'm not making any statements on him, but just based on, you know, the kind of victim mentality where it's like, oh, all these crazy music people are taking advantage of me. It's like, that's how it works. You know, don't get into the scene in that way. If and you don't have to, man. Like, stuff like this, so many of the festivals that are happening, so many artists you wouldn't recognize them on the street. You know, they don't pack stadiums, but they pay their bills, they provide for their family, they serve their community, you know, they live a happy life on their music, and you'd never recognize them unless you knew their music, you know. And they have more dedicated followers and fans, which are horrible words, but, you know, friends, supporters, more dedicated than just, you know, having millions of people listening to your music, but no one really cares. They're like, this is just like fun to drink to, you know. Like, so I don't know. I want my music to be fun. I want people to be able to party to it. I want to be able to rock a club on a Friday night, but at the same time, I want to be able to play all different types of shows, you know, with live bands, sound healing elements, you know, more conscious gatherings where alcohol is not there. Like, I really would love to offer my art to all of those communities and not say like it's got to be this or that. However, I didn't play venues that were doing the vax mandate. I didn't play venues that were requiring masks. That was a conscious decision because I knew it wouldn't last. But I still wouldn't have done it even if it did last. I was just, you know, found some other events. So I do have some, you know, whatever principles when it comes to shows and that sort of thing, and artists that I like to work with when it comes to live events. But yeah, man, I want to just share it with everyone. You know, that's the internet's so amazing because you can like upload your music from your bedroom and people all over the world can hear it, you know. And now we can have these little cards that people just scan and it takes them right to our music. It's like, how fucking cool is that, man? It's such a beautiful time to be a creator, you know, an artist, to do anything creative, you know, that you're trying to share with the world, because it's easier than ever to share that, and then like it's gonna help someone, it's gonna heal them in some way, and it's healing you in the process, you know. So it's like, yeah, man, that's the good shit right there.
Well, I just want to respond to so much of what you said, actually, but in particular, so today the modern poet, the most common but still yet unique poet, is the hip hop artist. There's so many variants to what that means, but I think that the thing that we need the most is to use the same tools that we have today, but use them in a better way. Like, we have all the technologies and tools to make this world the most beautiful place ever. We got 3D printers, and it's crazy amount of technological capacity that we have as human beings today, and it's using those tools in a way that actually supports and benefits all of us, rather than to inhibit us or make us fearful or put us into a cage. So hip hop is just another one of those tools. And if you know how to use that tool to bring about a transformative and beautiful process amongst the people that are listening to it, then all the more we should make that music. Push it out further, get it to more people that need it. So where can people find your music? How can they get involved? And if you have a last message for anybody,
Definitely.
what do you think is the most important thing you could tell anybody who watches this?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is that it's never too late to start doing something, you know, even if you're later in life. If there's something that you've always wanted to get into it, and like, you can pretty much do anything, you know, like within certain limits. But yeah, I mean, it's like, we're all so powerful and capable and perfect, you know, and being creative can really help you find yourself and be okay with the person that you are. Plant medicine helps too, but yeah, just stay inspired, you know, love yourself, love others, you know, search for the truth, you know, support freedom, if that's your thing. And yeah, you can find my music basically everywhere where music is streaming. I upload it to all the streaming sites, so you'll find it, you know, on Spotify, iTunes, that sort of thing. I like to direct people towards Bandcamp. Bandcamp's really cool because they let you upload your music in its original form. They don't run it through their algorithms. Most streaming sites will run your song through their algorithm to kind of like level everything out, you know, make sure that it doesn't clash with the next song in the random rotation. Bandcamp doesn't use those algorithms. They don't have like a radio feature. It just hosts albums, songs, projects, and everybody's got a Bandcamp page where it's basically, you can sell your merch on there, put your shows on there, you could do exclusive content. So that's a good place to go listen to the music and download it if you like it. Also, I have a Patreon where I try to put exclusive songs on there as much as possible. So that there's currently like 7 or 8 songs that you can't hear anywhere else, like on the Patreon, and then like a live set. And sometimes I'll just drop in with little, you know, ideas when I'm hiking. You know, I'll just like record myself talking, share some insight, or talk about some crazy dreams. But I'm trying to put exclusive songs on there. Patreon's cool, except for the people that they kicked off. But I'm gonna see if I can do something on there. And yeah, just like share my music, you know, with your friends if you like it. That's always a really good way to support people. Come check out a show. I don't really have any merch currently, but I do have an album that's it's pre-sale right now, so maybe it'll be out by the time this airs. But check that out. Donate if you like what you hear, and yeah, just help spread the word. That's the best thing for us musicians, is people just spreading our music around and showing it to their friends, and coming to shows too, because you could be like you could be an incredible performer, the best musician ever, but if no one comes through shows, it's gonna be really hard to get booked, you know, versus you could be like kind of a mediocre musician and, you know, whatever, maybe you just haven't found your stride yet, but you get all the homies to come out and they pack that place and like sell a bunch of tickets and, you know, really show you that support. Those are the artists that are going to keep being able to find opportunities, ones that have that community. So being a part of your local music community, even if you're not in hip hop, I think is really important to support musicians, to, donate to their music, since most of us are just giving it away for free now. But whatever feels right, just go listen and see what you think.
Yeah, and I saw a really great meme the other day, and I forget the exact words, but it went something like, doesn't matter, like you just said, doesn't matter if you like hip hop. If you had a friend and they're rocking something amazing, go put some money in the jar, or go and watch the show, or go and support by boosting their posts on the social media, or encouraging people to follow, or whatever it is, because it's like that 6 points away from any person on the planet. So if you can get the direct circle that you're in to each call out, 2 people, or not call out, to send out the message to 2 people, and those people send out to 2 people, you already got a network that's strong, that's big, that want to support you. And then the moment that you, who've been supporting those people, have something that you want to get supported, you now have that same crowd that you can call upon and get supported. And this is really, we got to start focusing on this, because it's from the ground up that we put these things out there. It's not like we got fucking silver spoons everywhere. We have, for the most part, people who are oftentimes struggling, and they're trying to produce and make things and get things out there, and yet they also got to think about, where am I going to get the money this week for rent or for whatever. So there's a lot of that out there. And so we don't want our musicians and our producers and our artists of all types, and people creating media of all types, or whatever it is, we don't want people to be thinking about just survival. It's not just about survival while we're doing these great things. It's about thriving. So I'm going to keep saying it. It's not just surviving, it's thriving. So what's your like lowest tier, and what's your highest tier on your Patreon?
$5 a month is the low tier, and then I think the next one's 11, and then there's like a 25. But I could switch those around. I just someone said once you set the low tier, you can't move it up. So like if you set your low tier at $1, you'll never be able to have your low tier lower. So I might still do a lower tier. I was just kind of seeing how the $5 a month thing caught on.
Well, here's what I think. I think if you're seeing this, I think you should go check out the music right away. So go check out Rhymewave right away. And if you like what you're hearing, go and put $5 on the Patreon. $5 is not that much. It's a cup of coffee. Nowadays, I mean, the cup of coffee soon is going to be $10-15. If you live in a city, it's going to be crazy. So I'm telling you, unless you come to Morelia. So I'm just saying, hey, go and find these musicians and support. So go look up Rhymewave right now, and if you like that music, and if you want to support this music to continue to be able to go further and wider and reach more people, just put $5 in there. And if you have the means, put $25 in there. And then go look up Kin of Merlin and see, if you got more means, go and spread it around some more. And so when you get your Patreon up, then all these other people can start putting that money back into your project as well. And we really got to get that local circular economy. And when I say local, I don't mean just local to a geographical region. I mean local to a concept as well. Yeah. So if we have Truth Music out there, there's a local group of people, and it's not that big. Yeah. It needs to get bigger too, but it's not that big. So really dive deep in there and see what you can find with Truth Hop, and you can find it with Kin of Merlin, and you can find it with Casey right here. So go check it out.
One last comment to the musicians that might be watching this. Like if you have been trying to find this community, people that can relate to your crazy, ideas. That's essentially what this place is. Like I see a whole bunch of beautiful people who have kind of been, disrespected in big ways by society and their loved ones, trying to find community here and trying to build something beautiful, and people that stand firm in what they believe and aren't afraid, to go for it. And so go for it. Like if you're a musician, you might not be able to find a venue, but you can create a venue. You can find other people that are doing this and connect with us, and come connect with us here.
Connect up, support. Let's get this circular economy going for all the people trying to make this world a better place. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, dude. Thank you. That was super fun.
Yeah, that was inverted man, I'm in a blur. It's both divinely coordinated and intrinsically disturbed. There's insufficient evidence for what has just occurred. Some find it in the ceremony.